Have you ever felt like your business is one bad project away from disaster? One expected claim, one client dispute, suddenly everything is on the line. That's exactly where one of my clients found themselves. They were stuck in a long, drawn-out claim that drained their time, stressed their leadership team, and left them uncertain about their future. It wasn't just about this one project. They realised something deeper. Their entire way of working was leaving them vulnerable. And if they didn't fix it, they'd end up right back in the same position again. This is how we changed that. So the situation was that this UK construction subcontractor had been locked in a claim for months. The commercial director was buried in evidence trying to prove their case. The operations director was sifting through records hoping to back up the claim. It was an all-consuming distraction. They were bringing in consultants, preparing for adjudication, and the worst part? They weren't even sure they'd make it through profitably. At any moment, this could collapse their business. The claim was eventually resolved, but the directors knew they never wanted to be in that position again. They saw the truth. This wasn't just an unlucky situation. It was the result of deeper structural problems in how they ran their business. So we went back to the beginning. First, we mapped out why they ended up in this mess. We found two major gaps. First of all, there was no system for winning work. They relied on an ad hoc approach, taking whatever projects came in rather than strategically choosing the right ones. Second, they had peaks and troughs in their workload. When they were busy, all focus went on to site issues. No time was spent on account management or business development. This pattern meant that when work dried up, they had no pipeline. And that's when they took on risky projects just to keep things going. And that's exactly how they got into this claim in the first place. So we changed the game. First of all, we looked at account management and business development. We started with who they worked with. We looked at their existing clients. How did they win them? Were they the right clients? We structured a system to nurture those relationships, checking in, keeping conversations going, ensuring repeat business. Then we tackled new business development. Instead of relying on reactive tendering, we built a proactive strategy for reaching ideal clients. We structured a simple, repeatable process to keep leads flowing, even when they were busy. So this is the challenge. In small businesses, there's no dedicated business development team. So we had to build a system that made business development part of everyone's role without pulling them away from their core work. Second of all, we looked at better commercial management. The company was making profit on most jobs, but there was a problem. Whenever work slowed down, those profits disappeared, eaten up by overheads while waiting for the next project. So we put in place a pre-contract system to fix that. We reviewed their contracts. We introduced key clauses that protected them from high-risk projects. And we trained the team to spot red flags before signing anything. This small change alone dramatically reduced their future risk. The third thing we looked at was standardising project management. This is where most construction firms struggle. Every project is run slightly differently because clients ask for different things. And that worked when the director was personally managing everything. But it was impossible to scale. So we created an operational system, a standard way of working that every project followed. There was clear handovers from estimating to operations. We standardised site reporting, and we defined processes for inspections, updates, and client communications. What this means is now, when a director or a project manager or a supervisor visits a site, they know exactly what to check and document, and they make sure mistakes don't happen. Then we looked at building a team that works. The director had been stretched thin, mornings on site, afternoons chasing new work, evenings handling payments. He knew he needed a project manager, but hiring someone wasn't the solution, at least not yet. First, we had to define the role properly. What would the project manager take on? What would the director let go of? Where did the company actually need the most support? Most small businesses struggle with this. They hire someone expecting them to figure it out. And that's why most hires don't work out. So before bringing anyone in, we mapped out exactly how the project manager would integrate into the business. And then when they finally brought him in, we built the systems with him, ensuring he succeeded instead of just throwing him in the deep end. The fifth change we made was measuring what matters. So none of this would have worked without tracking the right metrics. We looked at how much work was each team member handling? Where were the bottlenecks? What was slipping through the cracks? Instead of relying on gut feeling, we introduced a simple weekly reporting system. It kept everyone accountable. It showed who was overloaded and who had room to take on more. And it ensured business development didn't get forgotten when projects got busy. The result of this is that the company became proactive instead of reactive. They had a pipeline of quality projects, which reduced their reliance on higher risk jobs. They could then track and manage workload effectively, so no one was overwhelmed. And the director finally had time to step back because the business no longer relied entirely on him. And most importantly, they never ended up in another high risk claim situation again. But what about you? If you're running a construction business that feels like it's always one step away from disaster, let's talk. Because what got you here won't get you to the next level. You need better systems, you need a way to scale. And you need to free yourself from being the bottleneck in your own business. That's what I help my clients do. If that sounds like something you need, let's have a conversation.